Hi, this is Joyce, the voice of Joyce. I'm actually recording this now on a Friday, like I always do, and this is Erev, my holiday, Rosh Hashanah. So I've been deep into meditating about how I feel and what characteristics do I have. What am I proud of? What am I not? But owning those characteristics. I recently purchased Bob Woodward's book called Rage. It's about Donald Trump, and I think that the opening page, even prior to the prologue, in Trump's own words in 2016, they define Trump. I bring rage out, he said. I do bring rage out. I always have. I don't know if that's an asset or a liability. But whatever it is, I do. And that sometimes can make my opponents angry. They view me very differently than other presidents. And they do, and they should. This is not a country or another person. This is 330 million individuals. It's our country. And I don't think that we like the rage. The rage makes Trump single-mindedness of purpose, and his purpose is for himself. Whatever he thinks is important, that's what he pursues. And it's quite evident we, the people, are not important. We really don't even matter in Trump's world. And we don't matter in Trump's Republican Party either. At this point, there is no Republican Party. There is no organization that says that we, the people, are important. Why didn't he pursue all the scientific evidence before him on COVID-19 and prevent this epidemic from becoming a major killer in America? It probably was an inconvenient truth for Donald Trump. He was on to re-election. Now that he had been exonerated of impeachment by a party that really doesn't have allegiances to we the people, he couldn't care less what was happening with the pandemic, and he still doesn't care. If he cared, he would have mandated that everyone respect the science, that they had increased testing throughout the country, that people were mandated to wear masks. It's not only your life that you're saving when you wear a mask, it's others as well. Have we become so heartless that we no longer care about the Bible? We no longer care about the teachings of our gods? The teachings that say that we must be beneficent to our fellow man, and if one of us hurts, we all hurt? Have we forgotten that? Has the Hispanic population forgotten that Trump doesn't care about them almost as much as he doesn't care about African Americans? How many of you have died during this pandemic. If you're not part of the uber wealthy and you're not part of another ruling party, you're not anything as far as Trump's concerned. You must be the elite that he caters to, the despots that he likes. Kim Jong-un, Erdogan, and especially Putin. It's important for Trump to win re-election any way he can, and he'll try. But we are many, and the many of us must vote. And we must vote him and the cabal that thinks they represent a legitimate political party. They too must be voted out of office. And we can do it. And I don't recommend going personally to the polls. Why? Because according to what I've read so far in Rage, and according to the redacted Mueller report that I wrote a version of for everyone to read, Russian malware is in a lot of the voting machines. They certainly exist in at least 2 counties in Florida, and they probably were distributed to every county in our nation. That malware only has to be turned on, and your vote can be obliterated. Better to vote by absentee ballot. Sure, it's an effort. You may have to apply for it. You may have to track it. And if you're not registered already in some states, well, then you're going to have to register to vote. In which case, fill out your form correctly and put it in the drop boxes that will be available for early voting. Most states have it. Rely on either your personal postal carrier, take a picture of your ballot after you've signed it, you got a record in case any of us needs it, and either mail it first class or go to the drop boxes. But make a plan and get it done. Because unlike what the propaganda says, our votes do count. And we don't want any vote to go to Donald Trump. Not when we have such economic despair in this country. We don't have a second stimulus package, and yet we don't have a way out of COVID either. There is a way out, but I don't know at this point if everyone would take it. And that's the simple, cheap, rapid response in your home saliva test. It could be date stamped, and if you have the positive, you could either get it double checked if necessary, or stay home for 2 weeks and spare everyone the disease. The beautiful thing about these tests is it gets people when they're just starting to be infectious. Then we stop the outbreaks. Once you stop the outbreaks, we don't have to have culture wars on whether or not to wear a mask. They won't be necessary if everybody is in compliance. We won't have to worry about who's being educated and who isn't, because we'll be able to restart our society. Kids can go to school, people can go back to work, businesses don't have to close. It's as easy as that. 10, 15 minutes in your own home. Advocate for it, demand it. It's the only way to go. I've read it by Dr. Michael Mina. I've been following the virologists on Twiv. I've been following Dr. Daniel Griffin of ProHealth. This is our panacea. We don't know when a vaccine will be available. There's going to be problems because everyone is looking at this virus in a different way. And none of us are sure which methodology is going to be most effective for all of us. We already know antibodies don't last, so it's up to our immune system. Which brings me to another thing everyone should be doing. Get your flu shot early. Do it for yourself and your community because it will give you some immunity to COVID. Same thing with a pneumonia shot. If you need a pneumonia shot and you haven't taken it, it lasts 10 years, do it. That too gives us some immunity to COVID. Anything we can do to lessen the time frame of probably another 6 months, we should be doing. Truthfully, we need stimulus for so many people. I walk around my neighborhood and businesses are going out daily. There's maybe one store left on a block. You don't think we're going to have to rebuild? We're going to have to rebuild. And we're going to have to rebuild with a smart president. A president who cares about the fires in California, in Oregon, in Washington. Who cares about the fields of Iowa? Who cares about the tornadoes and the hurricanes and everything else that is bombarding our world? Who will do something about it and not just merely pass the buck and open up our world to more methane gases like Trump has done, or more pesticides like he's done. This is not the way to move forward. The way to move forward is with more industry, with Wi-Fi that connects everyone, so rich or poor, you can send your children to school. You don't have to hang out in a parking lot. And we need a party that is a large tent where anyone, if they wish, can join. So far, there's only the Democratic Party. What happens next? That's up to us. But we've got to vote, and we've got to vote overwhelmingly, because Donald Trump, in order to gain the billions that he was promised by Putin, must have another 4 years. Not here. We don't need the rage. We don't need the culture wars. We need to be able to have peace and go on with our lives and have compassion and empathy for all of us. Laws can be made so that we have justice. Laws can be made so that we have an economy that works better for all of us. All it takes is good people to be in Congress once again who care about the American people. all the American people, 330 million of us, working together as one beating heart. So I wish everyone a wonderful weekend and a blessed week. And I'll see you next week as well. Looking forward to it. And so should you. Bye now and take care.